You're listening to 12 to 1 with Adrian Abraham on Money FM 89.3. Now, you know how much I love food and, of course, the F&B industry in Singapore. But joining me on the show, and we've brought on a few food bloggers, F&B bloggers onto the show, is Wendy. She's a food blogger from Australia, actually, based in Singapore for the last couple of years now. She joins me on the show. Wendy, thank you so much. How are you?
Good, thanks.
So you've been doing this whole food blogging, well, this journey actually, for more than 10 years now. But what inspired you to get started? Because from what I understand, it began during your time in Australia.
Yeah, so actually I started quite a long time ago, as you just heard, because I really love food. So I have a real big passion for food, and I just wanted to share that with the world. So just started really simple, just sharing with the world what I was eating on a weekly basis. And yeah, just built from there.
And was this documented on Instagram to start with, or was there another platform that you were, showcasing your journey?
Yeah, so I started on Instagram, and actually back then that was like when Instagram first started, and it was more like keeping a diary sort of thing for me. But then yeah, it really just built from there.
But you have a full-time job as well, right? While you're trying to balance this out, now you have more than 60,000 followers. Does it ever, do you have to pinch yourself to see how far you've gone on this journey?
Yes, actually, when I started, I never imagined it would become what it is today. I'm also a dentist, so I had to really balance studying back then and now working as, in full-time in dentistry. So yeah, I really need to balance it. But yeah, I think food has really always been my passion and my hobby, so I've always kept it there as well.
And you moved to Singapore maybe like 2.5 years ago, so that was during the pandemic. What made you move here?
Actually, I moved here because my family moved here about 2 years before me, so it's more like to join the family. But at the same time, I really love Singapore now, and I'm so glad I came.
So talk to me about the culinary scene in Singapore compared to Australia. There are similarities, but of course there are going to be plenty of differences as well.
Yeah, so actually I think both the food in Australia and Singapore is really good. It's really hard to pick where I think is the food is better, but I think pros and cons with both. But for me, I really love Asian food, so I think I have a soft spot for Singapore because there's so much good Asian food, especially hawker food, like that kind of stuff you just can't find in Australia, so I love that.
Yeah, you mentioned hawker food there. What are some of your favorite hawker items when you go through everyday life in Singapore?
Well, of course, chicken rice. I'm sure all of you love chicken rice. And satay sticks. Seems very simple, but we don't have any good ones in Australia. Just all the simple nasi lemak. I love it, all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Singapore has probably one of the best culinary scenes in the world. Let's talk about some of the other restaurants that are here. In terms of, let's say, someone's planning a date night. Where's your top recommendation in terms of a restaurant in Singapore?
Oh wow, that's actually quite hard because to be honest, I've had a lot of really good food. I really like June 95.
Okay.
So it's a Japanese place at Boat Quay. Now I'm friends with the owner, but it's really good because it's good for date night. Like it has really good cocktails there, but also really good Japanese food. It's modernized with a twist, and I just really love food where the chef has really put real thought into the dishes, and you can really taste it in the food.
Yeah.
So that's one of those places, like it's perfect for date night. You got to check it out.
Is there another one that comes to the top of your mind?
I think for me, because a lot of people ask me where to eat, or even for date
Where do you
night.
go? I mean, with your husband. That's an easier way to say it. When you guys want to have plan your date nights, where do you want to go? What's another place that comes to mind?
So I think it depends on the cuisine, but like for example, we like Greek food. So we really like Blue Casino, so that's really nice for Greek food. Or we really like eating in the East actually, so if you want some good Vietnamese food, you can head to Katong. They have really good Vietnamese food there.
Yeah, some great options for your date. Now, what about brunch? I heard that particularly at the weekends as well, everyone likes to go out for brunch. So any top picks from there, recommendations?
I think again the East area we really like 40 Hands, but also we found some like little hidden gems. For example, there's this cafe called Flavor Flings that I like. So it's actually a halal cafe, but you'll find some gems there that you won't expect. It's really good.
And all of this is while you have a full-time job. You said you're a dentist by profession. You also have to manage this food blog. So how do you strike that balance? Because you really have to stay up to your game when it comes to, both levels. You can't be sort of take one for granted while the other one reaps its benefits or whatnot. How do you strike that balance?
I think it's about time management and also prioritizing. So I have to admit, I think in the past I posted a lot more, but I guess as life gets more busy and you got to prioritize other things, then you can't post as often. So it's more about just prioritizing the events you really want to do or the food jobs that you really want to do. But still make time for it.
Has it surprised you the support that you've got from the local community in Singapore, reacting to your blog and asking you questions and making you just feel very warm and comfortable in another country?
Actually, I've been so surprised by that. I think Singaporeans are so welcoming, and I've been so blessed with the opportunities I've had as a food blogger in Singapore. So many doors open that I never could have imagined. For example, I recently did a video with Seth Louis, and as you all know, he's an amazing food blogger. Just like interviews as well from different areas I never thought I would be doing. Like, for example, this one right now. So it's been really great.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about some of those opportunities that come about. For example, a restaurant invites you for a tasting. When you first started, now I'm sure you get plenty of it, right?
Yeah.
So how do you pick the ones that, you have to prioritize rather than just attending all of them? Because it's impossible after a while.
Yeah, it is really hard. I think I picked the restaurants that I'm interested in. For example, I love Japanese food, so I can never say no to like an invite from a Japanese restaurant. I think for now it has to be more quirky. I really like that kind of stuff. So something that's a bit more different. A restaurant that's newly opened. That really stands out from the rest.
Do you ever feel the pressure of, maintaining this blog while you're doing job as well, but also to make sure that it still stays at that level and maybe push it to the next level? How do you do it?
I think so, because I think if you've built something over such a long time, so many years, you want to keep it going, especially because over this time I've developed a lot of loyal followers, so thank you to you all. You want to keep it going just because you've built that support network and you've got all these friends through it as well, so that really motivates you to keep going.
You said that you're a huge fan of Japanese food, right? If there's another cuisine that, comes to the top of your mind that maybe second favorite after Japanese food, what would that be? And where is your favorite restaurant when it comes to that?
Well, that's hard because I actually like to eat a variety of food. So, for example, in a week, I might want to have Japanese one day and then Korean another day, Vietnamese another day. Like, I like to switch it up. So I think I like to try new restaurants. So rather than a specific restaurant I think is the best, I like to try new stuff all the time, even if the experience isn't that great, but the fact that it was a new experience, I think that's really exciting.
There's often this misconception that food bloggers only eat out. They can't cook, they can't do this. Break it down for us, because I know I've seen some of your posts and you do cook. So what's a meal that, your go-to dish in the kitchen? Because I understand you recently got married as well.
Yeah.
So what do you prepare when you just want to have a chill night in?
Well, for example, over Chinese New Year, it was really terrible weather, as you all know. So it was perfect hot pot weather. So we love hot pot. So that's a really great meal you can cook, really easy to do as well, and really delicious.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Wendy, for joining me on the show 12 to 1 on MoneyFM 89.3. Where can the listeners keep up with your blog? Can you tell us about a little bit more information about that?
So you can check me out on Instagram. So my handle is @Wendeats. So it's like Wendy without the Y and then eats. So Wendeats. You can find me there, and that's where I do all my posts. Also, I've just recently started a YouTube channel as well. So the link is in my bio. So you can check it out.